So you came all the way from Marshall to be here today. When you got here, what were you told?
Well, we actually got here an hour and a half early. We wanted to make sure that we could get into the courtroom. There was a lot of people here that were here last time. I actually had to take a break, and when I was coming back up, I was told by one of the officers that the hearing had been canceled. Nobody else had been told yet, so I actually had to go up and tell everybody myself.
What was your reaction to that?
I was pretty angry. This is the second time that we came over. The first time there was a contingency, it got pushed to this week. So we sat up, we stayed up to about 2 o'clock in the morning making signs and drove an hour and a half over here just for it to be canceled again. And we just kind of want to know why there wasn't anything told to the public or anybody that this was being canceled or becoming a private hearing or whatever was decided.
Yeah, so I mean, what we understand is I guess they came to the decision to release these dogs maybe 45 minutes before the hearing. I mean, what does that tell you, or how do you feel about that?
As just a person of the public, when something is put into place, 1:30 was said when the hearing was going to be. This was a public hearing. If they were going to do it private and they were going to do it 45 minutes before the hearing was even supposed to start, the least they could do was the decency of letting somebody know that, hey, this is what we're doing. But instead, they had us sit up there for an hour and a half waiting to hear from anybody, and nobody was told. And they made this decision without anybody getting to hear about it, without the people who are here to support the animals that don't have a voice. Nobody was there in support of them. And honestly, it's a little disappointing to hear about. If you really think that these are just dogs, please go see the faces that are ripped off, the staples that are put in their head as they were thrown back into the rings to be fought. This is not just these are dogs. This is abuse. And if these people can do these to innocent animals, what can they do to people?
And now we know that these dogs, the custody has been given over to the county. Not quite officially, we're still waiting on a signature from Judge Choice, but the agreement between the attorneys is that the dogs will be given to Smith County. So as someone who came and who was here last week as well, who is a voice for these animals and advocating for them, how does it make you feel to know that they are now, hopefully within the next few hours, going to be in the county's custody?
With what I've heard about the assessments that are going to happen, not confirmed, but as we've been hearing, I think it is a good thing that it's somebody from the outside. It's a non-biased opinion. I told y'all last time that y'all had me on that I was an abuse case and I got a second chance, so I really hope that this isn't something where, they've been through this traumatic thing, so why don't we just euthanize them? I really, really hope that is not going to be the case. I hope every single one of these animals get a fighting shot at having a second chance, because I went through almost the same things that they went through, and y'all see where I'm at now. I'm not an aggressive, I'm not going out and, hurting people. So I'm happy something's being done. I feel like this might have been a cop-out, to be honest, but I'm going to stay neutral and I'm going to say I'm happy something's being done. I'm happy that Nicholas Pet Haven is getting to hold on to the ones that are in bad condition, and they're getting to keep taking care of them. I just hope that this gets handled the way that it's supposed to be handled, and that we don't just give up on them.
And in terms of not giving up on them, what's next? What are in your plans to continue advocating for these dogs?
I am going to be calling and making sure that the assessments are being done, and it's not something that is just told to us and never done. I've heard from quite a few people who have talked about coming to adopt or hold on to a few of the dogs. As of right now, that can't happen. All the assessments have to be done, the hearing has to be done, but there are people that are willing to help. There are people at the public that are willing to help. There's people outside of Tyler that are wanting to help. There's rescues across the country that would be more than happy to pull these dogs and help them have a second chance. So I really, really hope, for the sake of the shelter and the sake of the dogs, that they make the right decision on what they're going to do.
What are your overall feelings and hopes for these dogs as they enter this next phase, if you will, of what's going on?
I personally hope that all the dogs get a fighting chance. I hope the assessments are done accurately and correctly, and I hope that they realize that in a shelter world that stresses are high, and it might not be the best place to do the assessments. I hope it gets done outside of the shelter, and I hope that all of the dogs get adopted and at least go to a rescue, rehabilitation,
this is going to sound like it has an obvious answer, but why do you believe they deserve that second chance?
Well, I've been through it. So at 4 years old, I was adopted. I was part of one of the worst abuse cases in Harrison County history that I've been told. And I was given a second chance, and nobody judged me based on the things that I had been through. And I don't think that we should be judging the animals. It's the same thing. It's the same situation, just a different species.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Thank you to Nicholas Pet Haven, to all the vets, and to Smith County Sheriff's Office for doing what needs to be done and prosecuting and pushing for change for these animals. And if you think that you do not have a voice and you think that, oh, you know, it's just one more person there, we can't do anything, we want you here. The dogs want you here.